to the channel Hot Mess Mamas. My name is Callan, and if you're new, typically I'm sitting by my very best friend Elena, but today I'm going to be sharing a story time with you. Now, when Elena and I first came up with this YouTube channel, we went back and forth on different content that we could do and things like that, and I told her from the beginning, I have this really cool story that I really want to put out there, and she encouraged me to do it. So finally, I'm sitting here telling you guys the story of the time that I got pulled over by a policeman with my 2-year-old in the back seat. Now, there's a lot that comes with this story and a lesson that I learned when I went through it, but before we get into it, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Please share this video if you can relate, if anything like this has ever happened to you. If a person out in your community as a mama just helped you out in some way and made you feel like you're doing okay and just had your back, you know what I mean? Sometimes we just need to come together to raise these kids. I truly believe that it takes a village, and on this morning a policeman was a part of my village, and I'll be forever grateful to him. So let's get into the video. Before we get into the story, I really want to preface what me and Ryder were going through at this point in our lives. Okay, so we had recently moved from Texas to Virginia, so that's number one, but we did have family around and we settled in pretty easy. However, Ryder has always been a very strong-willed child. He's always been very trying. Let's jump to the point in the story where we're actually at. My husband had to leave for 2 months, and that's the longest that my husband had to leave for work. And I wasn't sure how I was going to handle it. I was grateful to be with family while he's leaving, but also a little nervous. I was working, I was going to school, I had to take care of the house and the kid. I was just nervous. I was like, oh man, I've never been alone for that long. And Ryder was 2, and so, you know, the terrible twos, and, you know, he would test me a lot and everything like that. So, you know, I was nervous, but I knew that we were going to be okay. So shortly after Zach left, I started to make a new routine for us. And I would get up and I would get ready, and then I would wake Ryder up. Well, some days Ryder would get up before I even went in to wake him, and I would let him watch a little bit of TV before I went, before getting him ready while I was getting ready. Well, every single time that I would say, okay, it's time to turn the TV off, we need to go get dressed, it was a fight. So I ended up taking that out. Like, okay, you just can't watch TV at all in the morning. You can't, because I'm tired of the fight. You know how sometimes as a mom, you can feel what is causing the drama, and so you're just like, that's it, I'm gonna take it out. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna give me an issue every single time, I'm just gonna give that a break for a little while, like, to make it easier on me, you know? So when I would do that, every single morning he would come in and be like, can I watch TV? And I would say, no, not this morning. We've really got to get ready. Mommy's almost done, and I need to get you dressed. And it would be a fight. So then getting him dressed would be a fight. And it wasn't because of the TV. Ryder always fought me on everything in the morning. You know, I would start to, you know, crack an egg, and he'd say, no, I want oatmeal. And, you know, sometimes that would be a fight. Sometimes I'd just throw the egg away because I don't want to fight about it, you know what I mean? And most of the time our fights were because he fought me on getting dressed. And I'm laughing because I'm sure every mom out there has been there, where your child is, you know, lagging in the morning and you really gotta go to work, or you really gotta go to school. So this particular morning, you know, it had been a long week. I was up late studying for this exam. It was a state exam. I can't remember for which one, but I was going to be taking a state exam to be certified in something. I can't remember. So he fought me on getting dressed. And I was like, I can't do this morning. Like, we're running late. I cannot do this. Please get dressed. Pick it out. I don't care. You want to wear a snowsuit in August? That's fine. Just please get dressed. So I'm fighting him on getting dressed. You know, it's such a fight. And all I'm thinking about is just getting him in that car seat. You know what I mean? You know what I mean as a mom, where it's like, you don't care, just somehow safely get into the car seat so that we can go, because mommy's gotta go, you know? So that's where I was at. So I finally got him dressed, and I finally got his teeth brushed, and I finally got his hairbrush, you know? And so we head downstairs and I have to make his breakfast to bring it to where he stays for the day with the family friend. So I'm making his breakfast and I tell him, go put your shoes on. We really got to go. I'm going to be ready in 2 seconds and we really have to go. So he doesn't go put his shoes on. So 10 minutes later, I turn that corner and he doesn't have his shoes on. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I told you we have to go. Why aren't your shoes on? And so now I'm upset and he's fighting me on putting on his shoes. And I finally just pick up the shoes and I take his hand and we go out to the car. So I get him strapped into the car and I get in the car and I turn the car on and I need gas. I didn't get it the night before because I was so tired from working. So I said I'll just get it before school. But then I stayed up late studying and now I need gas. It was just, everything was going wrong this morning, okay? Everything that could be going wrong for me was. And I was so frustrated, I started to cry. If you know me, I'm very sensitive and I cry if I'm happy, I cry if I'm sad, I cry if I'm mad, if I'm frustrated. My emotions just always come out in tears. And so up until this point, I had really been trying to, you know, when my husband would call, I really tried to make it seem like we're good, how are you? Everything's fine here. You know when your husband is away on work or something and you're just like, you know, everything could be up in flames, but when that phone rings, you just hush the kids up, you know, turn the TV on even if you have to, just have a decent conversation with them and you know, not make them feel bad for leaving or like, oh man, like she's going through it and I'm sitting here in the hot tub. You know what I mean? Like, all our husbands do that when they go away. You know, they get put up in these nice hotels and they're sitting in the hot tub with a cocktail and you're sitting here with like peanut butter in your hair and, you know, whatever. So you always try to make it seem like it's okay. And so that's what I tried to do, except for this morning. I really needed my husband to, you know, just validate me and say, you know what? You're right to be upset. You know, he always does. He always does test you, and it's hard. And every single morning I've heard you guys, and you know, he's always, you know, he doesn't listen when it's time to get dressed, and you know, he's just always doing that. And I know it can be frustrating, but you're doing great. Everything will be fine. You know, I really needed one of those calls. So I get gas and I decide to call him, you know, on speaker, and I'm driving to the, you know, childcare person that watches Ryder, and Ryder's in the back seat, and it's one of those things where I was just crying a little bit and like trying to keep it in so that Ryder doesn't know that mommy's upset. I don't want him to think that I'm upset with him, even though I am, you know, because, you know, you gave me such a hard time this morning. But as soon as he answers, as soon as I hear his voice, I lost it. And I was just crying. I don't even know if he could, you know, it's one of those, you know, like oh my God, I just was so over it. I felt way in over my head. I felt like, I can't do this. There's just no way. I need to cut something out and I can't cut my kid out. So maybe I can't go to school anymore. You know, I'm just starting to feel like everything on my shoulders. So as soon as he answers, I start trying to vent to him. I don't even know if he can understand me at this point. He's really quiet, just letting me get it all out, you know. So I get into the neighborhood, and before I know it, I've got red lights in my rear view. So I'm like, shit, great. Just what I need. I'm just like, but I'm too upset to be like, oh shit, I just got pulled over. It wasn't like that. I was like, hey, guess what just happened? I just got pulled over. Oh my gosh. You know, and I'm like freaking out, and I'm so, you guys, I don't know if I'm like depicting this well, but I am so upset. Okay. I'm really upset. I have had it. This is, you know, he had been gone for weeks. I had been doing it on my own, you know, and I just really had it. So the police officer knocks on my window, which I'm usually very respectful to police officers. definitely not on the phone when they come to pull me over. I'm definitely, you know, got my hands and, you know, wait for them to, you know, knock on the window, and I roll my window down. You know, I'm getting the stuff that I need, you know, license and registration ready for them so they don't have to wait on me when I'm the one who messed up. You know what I mean? That's usually how I am. But I'm so upset that it's not that I don't care at this point, but I'm just really upset. So I'm going on and on and on still with Zach. And he knocks on my window. And I roll the window down, and I'm still crying, and I'm still talking to Zach. And he's like, ma'am, can you please get off the phone? So I was like, let me call you back. I don't even think I hung up. I'm pretty sure I didn't hang up because he was still on the phone, like, whenever this whole interaction was done. So the police officer says to me, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, because I was on the phone. Oh my God. Because I was on the phone. And he goes, no, actually, I pulled you over because you didn't stop at that stop sign. And it's really important for you to stop at the stop sign. This is exactly what he said. He's like, and it's really important for you to stop at the stop sign because a lot of people are going to work at this hour, and, you know, kids are going to their bus stops and getting picked up, and, you know, this road is pretty busy, and so you've got to stop and make sure no one's coming. So I was like, okay. And he's like, can I have your license and registration? So I'm scrambling through that, and he's very calm. He doesn't seem upset with me. I think that he can see that I'm really upset. And so I give him my stuff, and he walks away and does whatever he does in the car, and he comes back and he says, here you go. I'm going to let you off on a warning, okay? But I really need you to stop at that stop sign. So I said, okay, thank you. And he goes, why are you crying? And I said, I completely told him why I was crying. I mean, I went in on this poor police officer. I mean, I didn't go in on him, but I totally just like belted out everything that had been happening in like the past week. And I was like, and I'm trying to go to school, and I go to work, and he doesn't listen to me, and my husband's gone, like this. And he just stood there and he listened to me, and I probably only went on for like 3 to 5 minutes, if you guys can believe it. I finally just cut myself off, and he goes, let me ask you something. And he leans his elbow into my window and he says, did you pop him? And I laughed. It made me laugh, and I was like, yes, I do. And he still doesn't listen. And he was like, okay, do you mind? Can I go talk to him? And I was like, sure, that's okay. So I roll Ryder's window down, and I have a picture. I'll insert it here. I roll his window down, and Ryder is sitting there. And back then, Ryder had like this all-time favorite blankie, and it was like this white little blankie, and he would like suck on it like this. And I was able to snag a picture of this moment because I will never forget it. The police officer went around the car and said to Ryder, your mommy loves you so much, and her job is to love you and take care of you, and your job is to listen to her. And I'm just looking forward, and I'm listening to everything that he's saying to him. And this conversation only took place for like 2 minutes, but I just start crying even more. And what I was going through, you know, it's okay, and people go through it. But what I was thinking in that moment was, here I am telling my son to listen to instruction and follow the rules and listen to me, when I'm not even following my rules. My rules, I can't be talking on the phone, and I definitely should have stopped at that stop sign. To me, it just kind of leveled everything out that Ryder and I had been going through with Zach gone, and you know what I mean? It really humbled me also. And it made me feel like, you know, this guy's job is to give me a ticket when I deserve it. You know what I mean? It is not for him to give Ryder a sticker or, you know, talk to him the way that he did, or even listen to me. He didn't have to do that. But because he's a good person, and, you know, he just went above and beyond his job for that day, and he will never know what he did for me that day, because, you know, I learned a lesson. I learned a very valuable lesson that day, and for one, I need to be a better role model for Ryder, because if I'm sitting here telling him to follow the rules, Mommy needs to also. But also, it made me believe that everyone can help raise your kids. It really does take a village. And for me that day, that police officer was a part of my village, and he helped me out, and he didn't have to. And, you know, I think it was cool for Ryder a little bit to be talking to a police officer, even when he was getting sort of scolded. We drove off, didn't get a ticket or anything, and we drove off to the family member's house, family friend's house, and he ran out saying, Mommy got pulled over by a policeman for not stopping, and he gave me a sticker. So that's what he got from it at 2 years old, but I took a whole lot more from it. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you did, so that you can get more content like this. And until then, I guess we'll see you next time. Bye.